So welcome everyone to another YC Finance Wednesday. These are our weekly community calls where we have fresh insights into our ecosystem, potential collaborators, projects that have been around much longer from whom we can learn and collaborate, and also, of course, the ecosystem that we're building on, like Gnosis chain. We have today René from Fund the Planet about impacts on chain, impact proof on chain, and Pete from Gnosis chain. And as you know, YC Finance is the Unity crypto community, where it's all about funding more solar to go green. We are, like Fund the Planet, very keen on staying close to the projects. In our case, we have solar projects and CO2 avoidance that comes from actually replacing solar, the dirty or gray grid electricity with solar power coming from rooftops. The limited edition of YCO2 carbon credits you can test out with our high resolution 30 minutes data into the impact of these solar projects from UK. These are 57 projects. You can browse around what we currently have connected in our MVP and working. But the main focus is actually about funding new solar projects, and the private beta round will be in Portugal with the Portuguese projects. On our YouTube, you can see the community members that make it happen. And with that, I hope to see more and more people to join this community, and also look into all the interesting projects and activists that we have in our ecosystem. Yes, so just one more, feel free to make suggestions on Twitter for what topics you want to see. We are going to have Monerium hopefully next week. I still have to clarify that, but that's another project that actually makes YC Finance more accessible to more of our solar community, who are basically businesses on ground, like Unity, a solar as a service business, very traditional, and for them having an IBAN into our Web3 accounts is really a nice feature. So, and with that, I would say, without further ado, René, thank you so much for making the time to come by. As said, the vision of the project would be great if we go into, like, how do you prove the impact that you have with protecting the Amazon rainforest or parts of it. And then when we have the time, I would love to go into the discussion side after what you want to share. So many questions, like how we can actually activate the demand side, that they appreciate that we have these Web3 natives tokens that can definitely program carbon value into these tokens, but there are so many other values that are being connected to not just the financial values, but also social or the brand value. I think there you have a lot of experience already with the project. You've been around for over 2 years. Yes, so and towards the end, we will take over to our chain ecosystem, which is Gnosis, and we have Pete here to share with us some updates. Cool, thank you. I stop sharing so you can take over the name.
Thank you. Thank you, Sepnem, for having me, and hi, everyone. I'm here to give you a little introduction to Fund the Planet and what we are doing. Should I share a presentation? Okay. I didn't know I have to bring a presentation, but okay, I can find it later. I have enough on stock. Quickly about Fund the Planet. Our vision is to save the world's ecosystems ecosystems such as the Amazon rainforest, but also in the longer run, coral reefs, other forests, wetlands, and all kind of what makes our planet actually habitable for us and gave life to humanity. So we started with the Amazon rainforest because we thought it's the easiest pitch. Because everyone knows that the Amazon rainforest is into deep shit. It's literally burning. Everyone gets it how important it is, and also I cannot deny a strong emotional connection to the rainforest. So we started it, and we started the entire endeavor with having blockchain in mind, because without blockchain we wouldn't have started, because the fact that it's worth saving is clear. There are also a lot of organizations out there who put great effort into saving, but frankly, it didn't really catch me. It didn't really, I wanted to do something, but it was like, but that didn't feel right. And when NFT were around the corner, and I was like about to buy a piece of rainforest for myself, deeply looking into that, so I kind of knew how to do it. I was like concerned it would be like a really risky business and really a lot of effort involved, but I was committed to do so. With NFTs and friends brought up the idea, it became suddenly a totally different story. So you could buy a piece of rainforest as a company, and you can tokenize that piece of rainforest. What it actually does is you give the person the ownership of the entire positive impact of our exact piece of rainforest. You don't have to buy like hectares of it. You can have like small pieces. It's also clear for everyone. Having like a piece of rainforest in Peru, you cannot really show to anyone. You cannot really prove it. I mean, let me get the land ownership documents I have always with me. I always have in my wallet. No, that doesn't work. And also, it besides the huge hassle you have with buying the land and conserving it and so on. Yeah, and then we realized blockchain brings everything together in a way we can implement to all kind of ecosystems to make them more available to save instead to destroy it and do other businesses with it.
When was it? When did you start?
4th of May 2021.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
2021. No, cool. And there has been also a lot of scandals that with respect to you know, organizations or NGOs paying land stewards to actually protect the rainforest, but then on one hand that money is taken, but on the other hand actually pieces of rainforest being chopped and destroyed still. So
it's yeah, it's crazy. All kind of stuff you can think of how to abuse the system. People thought of it before and executed. That's for sure.
Yeah, and when we met actually in Munich in the first ReFi ReFi Munich get together a couple of months ago. I mean, you had your mobile phone and you had the app already on it, and I was like, yes, this is what we're talking about, that you can actually, you know, take these conversations about impact and about making impact visible, traceable onto any situation with you, especially into, you know, friends and family, like where we actually can influence or share positive, share the positive impact or the influence of it, or motivate others to join. So that's why, I mean, if you can show some of it, I don't know, maybe just getting us through, showing us through the web page or so. It doesn't have to be, yeah, it's really cool app, and some of it in the back is super interesting.
Yeah, that's where we came from. We thought, hey, everyone needs to have like actual piece of rainforest. And what we realized down the road or down the way, like doing that, we came from a different angle. So most nonprofits, if you're interested a little bit of history, most people in the space come from in German it's Entwicklungshilfe. It's like development support. It's basically states finance organizations to do some good work in other continents of poor people. Kind of comes from former colonizations or in some bad feel bad about that and try to make up for that. So those organizations were actually specialized to talk to governments to fulfill their policy agenda. And then the governments decided, like in the 70s, 80s, we should, this climate change is getting a problem. We're really good with the ozone layer, with the gases they're involved. Let's do the same up for like greenhouse gases. And then suddenly they saw a new way to get money from the governments or the ways. And then the same organizations transferred towards, hey, let's collect money to cause positive impact. And then we kind of quantify it with carbon credits. But by heart, they never had this traceability. They always got money from all kind of sources and throw it into a big pool. Everyone would do the same. And also there are always charities, donation-based. So they never have a guarantee or liability. It was that never either donation. By law, I cannot guarantee the impact. Otherwise, I'm not a donation and a charity anymore. So when we started, we were in that position and we said, okay, if you give people like parts of rainforest, we have to guarantee it's all right. And especially if you make it transparent, everyone can check like the standard image or other parties, they would see if it got down. This would be like a immense clusterfuck for us. So we said, okay, let's do everything to be as transparent and guarantee the impact. And then we kind of had this. We can be as transparent, even though, let's say, the deforestation is really, right now, it's even a little bit further, especially in that region. If something happens or any incident, then you know exactly what part is affected. With the carbon credits, you have a huge project, which is much bigger than that. But you have like, okay, there's like something going on, you know exactly which part is affected, but everyone has like it's just in a pool, you don't know which one, and no one can also based on the system would ever think about claiming compensation for that, but we do it. So if we screw up something, we compensate the people. If in case that would happen. So far, so good.
So what are the things that could happen? Like, does it go? Yeah.
It could be illegal logging, but we have more than 50 people in that community who are working with us. Here you see our building. They kind of had the idea to use this, their own corporate identity for Fund the Planet, but it's our committee. There are more than 50 people involved in the community on a part-time basis, because we want to have as many families as possible being involved there. Everyone is dressed a little bit funny because we organized a soccer tournament there, and we got German jerseys. Yeah, so we work together. They are currently also building a fence here to make it even to prevent accidental logging, which is done accidentally, because not all of them have like those geo-coordinate tracking devices, and maybe there's a incident and they cut off too much.
So, and that's one part also which is important, that you have this connect, like you don't just buy the land and then do your tech aid business or tech impact business on it, but actually you are connected with the community there. So how do you, can you give us a bit of an insight into that? Like, how are they involved? That by buying land, is that shouldn't feel, or that shouldn't be like actually, you know, buying land into cities and then people don't have place to find yeah, flats and rooms for rent. Like, this shouldn't and isn't become something like this, having the bad side effects of investment. This is really buying land to protect it, like becoming a steward of that land and having the community involved in that stewardship. Can you explain a bit on that? Like, is this the relationship then between Fund the Planet and those local communities? Or when I join as an RFT holder, like, how do I connect? Or do I just have the token and get the information? Or could I become more and more involved also?
So starting from the involvement, the ultimate involvement is we organized jungle expeditions. We already had the first one, which was a trial. We go in the jungle and we take people with us. And yeah, this is the ultimate involvement, and you will see everything. And we use this as well to connect people more to the nature, to give them a unique experience, because it's a little bit, you cannot book in a what do you call it, in a travel agency, because it's too risky. we spend a few nights in the rainforest. It's more like a survival trip, but it's really a life-changing experience. And also we spend time with the community to really get to know what's going on there. And the people we take with us, we hope they help us to fulfill two goals. First of all, the verification of what is going on, to also give them information you cannot see, or you don't need to only trust the videos we make, the content we provide in the satellite images, but really be there and tell people, hey, I was there. It's like legit. And the other way is to help people to spread what we are doing. In the future, we want to have even higher engagement there. The community is completely disconnected and they don't have internet. So there's not, we would love to have more calls with them, to really talk to them and show people, let them tell their story, what they are doing and how they see everything. But it's not so possible right now. Which is also part of what we are doing there. So we're waiting for Starlink to have internet there and give them access to the World Wide Web with at least 2 public computers. We are buying already equipment they need for transportation. We are currently working on, you can see this street here, to improve that street for them, so they can have, because it's a rainforest region, streets are literally washed away during a rainy season, to have like a concrete street there. And we do it in more in a business relationship. We don't give them money because they are poor. We want them to do stuff for us. So we always think about, okay, what can they do? And we are happy and willing to pay because they can do a lot of amazing things. And this can develop further in, they will organize the ecotourism by themselves, or even produce certain things. Maybe at some point we can export coffee, funded by coffee, or they have really amazing skills to craft really awesome accessories. So this is like the long-term future.
Do you know Ethic Hub?
Ethic Hub, no.
So I think that will be this year's personal goal for me, to bring all these impact projects and tokens together. So no, it's again, I think it's wonderful, and especially if we don't lose yeah, like the respect of exchange, if we can establish it, the different cultures and so on. These are all things that cannot be measured, and it's only our human sensors who can hold the space. But it's super cool. I don't know if Pete also sees it when I see these tokens. For example, currently on Gnosis chain, there is this ghost NFT. I don't know what it is, but it's spiking the usage and the wallets and NFT minting on Gnosis chain. So things are happening, but I don't know what ghost NFT is or what kind of impact. It's these mostly games that are still happening on chain. I mean, as long as we're developing the infrastructure, testing it, making it more strong, I'm game for anything. But I would really love to see actually in our ecosystem, now that we're on Gnosis chain, like more projects like these actually, right? So you're on Polygon, or
Correct.
have you, yeah, like that's that's also one thing that the issue that we have. People are saying, yeah, I would have minted carbon credits immediately. But you're not even on mainnet. No, you're not on mainnet, not even Polygon. So, and I'm like, but Polygon just has hundreds validators. Like, we're in this for this whole decentralization aspect. And Gnosis Chain, I don't know if you knew it, but Gnosis Chain is the most decentralized, second only to Ethereum, has over 100,000 validators, whereas Ethereum has 400 something and so on. So, and another link I want to make here, just information-wise, but also keep in the back of the head. Gnosis Chain also has this program, Pete, with helping validators to be started anywhere where there is internet connection and computers.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So our lead developer is currently in Kenya running workshops. So I think just in the last few days, they've got about 50 validators up in Kenya. They're running a big workshop tomorrow, so hopefully some more. I'm flying to Toronto next month for Ethereum Toronto to try and get some Canadians involved. But yeah, we're trying some outreach for some geographic diversity.
Awesome.
And the diversity is really cool. So Gnosis Chain is also, if you look at it, between Europe and US mostly, but there's definitely, if we decentralize more, definitely also be more inclusive and enable access. And it actually is good validator rewards as well. Like, so, and then in in different places, those validator rewards can make a huge income source as well. So these are all super interesting connections that I see. So one aspect is, I don't know if it becomes too technical or likely if you wanted to go other places. I just have one more question with respect to that, because it also practically could be one of our or one question that I'm asked a lot, like why can't we do both, like Polygon and Gnosis Chain? Have you thought about that? Like, would it be possible to say some pools or projects we can deploy on different chains? So it's just a matter of smart contract deployment. Could we do it like the decentralized exchanges that are on mainnet, Polygon, Gnosis Chain, and everywhere? Or René, do you say it could be difficult from tech or semantics wise?
So I don't know Gnosis, to be fair, but it sounds like it also uses the EVM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I don't see an issue, especially we are shifting more towards putting the blockchain for our B2C product more and more in the back. Because everyone is our market, and blockchain is currently a big hurdle, like a really strong gate. Not many people.
Yeah, I validate that.
Yeah.
It's the same message from Solar.
So we could be thinking about simply putting, so blockchain serves, since we are tokenizing land and impact, and it serves for us as a public registry and notary at the same point. Meaning everyone should see who's owning which part and what's the impact on a database we are not controlling, which is like can be trusted. And currently we think about going away from NFTs for B2C, but putting snapshots of our database on a daily basis onto the blockchain. And for that, we can use pretty much any blockchain.
Yeah, makes sense. Again, I also see that one of the next things after finalizing the white paper, because as you might remember on our side, there's also the revenue share. So a lot of work with legal engineering will go into the white paper now in the coming weeks. But definitely then, like after we have clarified how the Web3 ecosystem works and exchanges and so on, I think on the demand side, and now maybe we're going into that discussion, the demand side, like we're putting this possibility, the participation and the ability to track and trace the impact that you are having with your contribution. We enable that. But then actually the demand or the user or the participant isn't necessarily is interested in the traceability, but isn't necessarily interested in managing or holding tokens. I still think personally, again, I will still want to onboard them into this self-sovereignty. But yeah, it's a big hurdle, right? Also mindset wise and so on. That definitely one aspect, like moving more into Web 2.5 or even a web application with the feature of transparency and traceability using blockchain.
Yeah, that's a big challenge. I wish I found an easy way around that. The point of self-sovereignty, people have a very uncomfortable user experience.
Yeah.
Because if they get a first wallet, they say like, hey, write down your seed. And they say, what? I never had to do it before. And then it comes a message, if you lose a seed, you lose everything. And they're like, oh no. And then they realize, okay, I don't have funds on that wallet. Maybe I can use like integration that like a few companies offering that, but then it takes days and it's like complicated. It fails so many times. It's really, 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 someone has to be 110% committed to do that.
Yeah. For the experience of it. But I do see one segment of participants, namely those who have been always curious and following the crypto space, and maybe even used to buy some tokens, but on Coinbase, like really trusted centralized bodies and so on. But through such ventures and adventures, like Fund the Planet, actually see that this is a game changer for them, and then that might actually push them over this edge to actually go into the not so easy to use, but definitely also experience this boundaryless exchange of value, like the self-sovereignty, and then being able to participate with value exchange over the internet. It's an experience as well. And then again, like this is a great experience how you can actually connect globally those value value. But yeah, definitely on the demand side, again, when we think of it, like who are currently demanding this type of impact? Can you share a bit there, if you want to, like your experience, who is participating currently, what type of demand? Are these like corporates, individuals, and what is their different motivations and needs? Maybe that's definitely interesting.
We have both corporates and individuals. We start with individuals, and there was a strong tendency towards high net worth individuals, definitely. Some of them we onboarded even on crypto, on Web3, which was kind of a funny experience, and we kind of saw, okay, this is not scalable. We were like often in a call with them and to really walk them through, because it's so scary. And you really see people and you're like, don't worry. So this, yeah, for sure. Basically, everyone wants to save rainforest. There really are only a very few people in our society who wouldn't want to save rainforest. Then it comes really down to the question, is it the best for me? Maybe some people have found a different passion, or people, especially now with the economy situation, with the inflation, they simply don't have the means. They know exactly, hey, I'd rather do that. For corporates, it's kind of similar. Those companies who really care about their sustainable brand and can afford that, they, in general, we like the idea. We have like all kind of different use cases. We are onboarding like almost one company every week in our current rate, and they are testing the plane, because you have a kind of open system. Some companies connect to the product, they make an add-on product, others use a symbol like as a brand, others use it as a gift for their customers to say like, hey, I give them some piece of rainforest to show appreciation. Others use it for offsetting. For food delivery, the shippings like Metaproof Society, all kind of different cases. We are just really excited to onboard more and more people, and to get to the point where we can say, okay, this one is our main use case. Or maybe we are just super open, because it's, for companies, it's always about the experience they can give to their stakeholders, to their customers, and maybe it should be individual. Maybe we keep the system as open as possible.
Super cool. But and in like the tokenization aspect though will always remain. Like if finally the crypto space understands their crypto native impacts on chain, that people actually start to go wild collecting these tokens that do have a positive impact in the real world. That would be my wish for 2023, and definitely want to be an activist there in that exchange, in interface. Do you want to share any more, like what you might need or what you want to see next for Fund the Planet or for the space in general? Any?
More B2B customers, more and more B2B customers would be really nice to finish the exploration phase as soon as possible. And we definitely have the experience. It's a total different stories if you talk to companies like the first ones. They ask for like, what's the use cases? To have some case studies. Now we have a lot of case studies, and getting more and more, and we can onboard bigger and bigger companies. So it's just a question of time, it feels like, until we have like the really big companies who can also make a huge difference in the Amazon. Maybe Amazon. I would propose to Jeff Bezos to give like at least
screams for it, right? Make something good.
1% of their brand value should be committed towards protecting the Amazon. I mean, that's where they get the name from. That sounds just fair. Yeah, so this is kind of...
It's amazing that that doesn't happen naturally, actually. But again, it could be that they just don't trust what is currently or had happened in the past. They were just, it's not that money didn't flow into this protection, but it was so scandalous, dirty, and it didn't really help, as we are seeing. So in our case, I think Renee is also about creating new incentive schemes now that we have programmable values on chain. So I think let's have the remaining 15 minutes maybe to catch up with Gnosis chain, Gnosis Builders, Pete. Renee, thank you so much for coming, sharing with us. I'm sure that I will want to see you once more here about, there are some questions, experience exchange I'd love to have about the whole pricing, like how do you price this value, and is it always a negotiation currently likely? But how do you see that? I think one aspect that we agree on is like this whole trading might be fun, but it's not really getting us to an actual impactful price finding, and likely because these are not really commodities that we're dealing, or we may be even using the programmability of this ledger to actually decommodify and make values visible and appreciable. Thank you so much. So, and Pete, again, thanks for joining. You're joining us now second time. We had a good exchange about you, where you told us all about Gnosis Builders, what you're up to, Gnosis Chain, about the decentralization plans and progress. And then also we talked about how the small proof of stake computing carbon footprint, the small, much smaller than typical carbon footprints out there, that Gnosis Chain has, that actually these boutique solar credits that we have, and real-time computing of, you know, how much CO2 emissions are being caused by using electricity, and could we even in real time offset that by actually proving solar production in the same places where the Gnosis chain nodes are. So again, like we're following that case on our side, and definitely we'll have a special session for that one as well, as soon as we have more more to share about the case and how to implement it. But today you wanted to join and give us some updates in general.
Yeah, of course, Sebnem. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course, we've moved. We were following the Ethereum roadmap, so we've moved from proof of work to proof of consensus. So I think that's dramatically reduced our carbon footprint. But of course, yeah, we're keen to get it down to zero and work with you guys. Just on the Starlink, I do hope you do get the Starlink Renee down in the Amazon. There's a couple of guys I know in Mexico who have ranches in the middle of nowhere, and they've bought a Starlink and they're doing very well on them. So that seems like a great technology. Yeah, we're continuing. We're continuing our decentralized push over at Gnosis Builders. I've been working with the amazing guys over at ICP. I don't know whether you guys have had the pleasure to meet the internet computer team, but they are just on another level. Absolutely unbelievable what they're doing over there. So doing basically, you know, cloud provision like AWS, GCP, but on the blockchain. So you can pay in their tokens for compute power, storage, you know, and although our validator network, we are pushing to be as decentralized as possible with the geographic diversity program and others. Sometimes our apps are built on a single server, a cloud provision server. So we're currently focusing on migrating all our dApps and applications that run on the Gnosis chain to be fully decentralized as well. So over at ICP, they're able to offer process power, deployments, storage. You know, you can one-click deploy to a .eth website through them. But they're up to all kinds of things. Unbelievable stuff. We're now looking to release an auction site in a couple of months. And that auction site will have no single point where there's storage, no single point where there's processing power. You know, the auction website that people see, interact, and buy and sell these NFTs on won't actually have a single point of failure and be fully decentralized over the ICP network. So exciting stuff over at Gnosis, working with ICP.
Mhm. Super cool. Will you also share like the deployment that, you know, through that case, others can learn how to go
Of course,
about
some of
it?
it's ever so simple though. If you Google Fleek, Fleek, that's a dApp on the ICP chain, and it allows a one-click deployment of a front-end website to the .f domain, and you paid a tiny gas fee to Ethereum to deploy that. But Fleek, really recommend working with them. You know, we're going to do all our websites going forward with Fleek. So when you deploy to Fleek, their storage, their processing, everything is decentralized through ICP. So we're not on a server, we're not on GCP, we're not on AWS. So if any of these things become issues in the future, ICP is going to distribute our computing power. And I just think it's amazing what those guys are doing over there. They've taken the blockchain model and then applied it to cloud computing, you know, so we're talking they're doing hundreds of thousand times the number of transactions per day as Ethereum are, because they're actually processing, deploying, storing, you know, doing the basics of computing directly on the blockchain. So yeah, great stuff over there. We're going to continue to work with them. I'd totally recommend Fleek. Very cheap to deploy, and you get the .eth domain straight away. So yeah, really good guys over there. Interesting stuff.
Definitely check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, ICP, Fleek. But if you go to the ICP website, they have all the different dApps that run on their equipment, you know, people making use of this on-cloud computing power and storage power to release dApps to allow people to do these kinds of things, but in a simple manner without engaging directly with the ICP chain, but which is totally possible too. Right, shall I stop talking about ICP? I should talk about Gnosis, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, we're trying to attend all the Ethereum conventions we can at the moment in outside of Europe, because as Sebnem said, we are slightly centralized around Germany because of our founder. So yeah, lots of outreach programs in the South Americas, North Americas, Africa, India, places that haven't traditionally been validating the Gnosis network. So trying to decentralize our network as much as possible, and then from our end, we'll continue to have a focus on every single thing that's released on our chain will be fully decentralized from the back end as well. Yeah.
You know, I always have to ask. So basically, you know, as Gnosis builders, everything like you're at the front end, you're building like the decentralization.info and so on. It's and currently maybe being hosted on AWS, like things of course remain on Gnosis chain, but for this whole storage, you're using ICP.
Yeah, we did a proof of concept using IPFS, interplanetary file system. So a couple of our dApps in the past have at least decentralized their storage using IPFS. But what we love about ICP is not only can they decentralize your storage, they can also decentralize your compute as well, which really is something that only ICP are offering at the moment. So yeah, we're moving over from IPFS, the interplanetary file system, over to ICP, and then this way we're going to look at decentralizing every aspect of the compute. There will literally be nothing processed computationally off-chain. Everything we do, deployments, people visiting our website, every transfer of data will be on-chain, which is,
cool.
I think, really another level to all this.
How do you make those decisions?
I don't.
I know, like, because we're getting there, and like, and number one, how do you choose from maybe different options, or and then the second part is like you are a decentralized collective. autonomous organization even, right? So that's pretty effectively doing that. Can you share a bit about, for example,
Yeah,
alongside
absolutely.
how to do
Well, the owner of Gnosis is absolutely passionate about the decentralization. Serious concerns in upper management of there being legal issues with AWS and GCP in the future. When we sell the validator workshop around the world, we ask that people either use a local cloud provider or old hardware that they have, because it is a real serious concern, I think, among most coins, that the cloud providers at some point will deny a service and not be interested in continuing that. I mean, we've been doing decentralized apps on IPFS for over a year now, so we have tried to decentralize away from AWS and GCP as much as possible. But yeah, there is no offering on the marketplace at the moment that rivals ICP. No one else has put computational power on the blockchain like they have. So it was a no-brainer for us to work with them. There is really no other option out there. Definitely going to continue to do so. Their network is expanding at an enormous rate. Got some high-quality apps, as I say, like Fleek.com on there. So yeah, obviously it's one thing to decentralize the validator network, but then we have to sort of walk our own talk, don't we, and decentralize our own applications too. So yeah, it's a big push. And as we say, we made a commitment, everything new will be decentralized and everything old will be migrated to decentralized setup as well. Yeah.
Super cool. So model it so we can follow that model as well. So that definitely also obvious point on one hand. On the other hand, at the same time, even if users wouldn't know or don't yet care, I believe like carrying on those values is super, super important. I mean, that's why we're here. So I do. Mm-hmm.
No, it's just it's so smooth from the front end. If you visited one of our ICP hosted websites on Fleek, the end user wouldn't know. Yeah, they
right away,
have no idea that
right
they're working
away.
on decentralized hardware, which is really nice. It doesn't require any effort or anything from the end user. Everything is displayed as normal, normal deployment. Yeah, and obviously as we do it and we speak to new people who want to come and build on our chain, we can say, look, we did it this way. Please follow that way. So. Yeah, hopefully it will work in that direction.
So you're going to have this whole decentralized DevOps know-how, and through Pete we have we have that intelligence. Perfect. So thank you so much for coming. I don't know if you had any more update.
Oh, nothing specific. I don't think so. No, just
cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Thanks for sharing so much. And I don't know if anyone. Paula, David, if you have had questions. I saw that David made a comment about the real problem is the double sales of selling the same parcel of land, forest, and so on. I think that was when I was asking about using two chains. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely that would be an issue to have it on both chains.
I think like these complexities are, I believe, always one abstraction level further. Like the community validation also needs to cover those aspects of application logic and application data as well, or application layer logic. Good. Yes, the devil or the god is always in the details. and we're getting into the details. That's great. Then I would say we're at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your experiences and the news. And I would say I would close this session for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks all.
Thank you all.